So everybody, this is Vince from Listings to Leads, and this is our weekly call on Facebook lead generation. And I know a lot of you, I was just asked before we got started recording this, how long have you been with us? Who's run ads? And have you been having much success? As I'm waiting for those answers, I'm going to point out that we do have a mastermind group. And I think one thing we're going to go into here is we're going to show you how to run an ad, right? And after that, we're going to talk about, or one thing that I want you to be aware of is running an ad is actually not difficult at all. Even running it in the way that we suggest, which is, I think a little more advanced than most people, it's really great to kind of run ads, get listing leads, get buyer leads, but also build your presence out there. There's a little bit to that, but one of the reasons why I'm bringing you over to our mastermind group is that there's a lot of feedback from our clients right here. So every day when you log into Listings to Leads, there's this button that says join the mastermind group. If you're not in there, 15 minutes a week, just to look at the ideas of what's going on, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because what I'm going to show you is the basics, the ins and outs. This is how you do it. Here's how you target. Here's how you build a page, and here's how you get leads, and here's how you build your business on Facebook. But a lot of questions get asked. Here's a great one. What should we do about audience network? I'm going to answer that question, but the questions get asked all the time here. And what's really great is when people say, hey, I'm getting a bunch of leads here, and this is what I ran. And that's the thing that I want you to understand is to run an ad on Facebook is very simple. It's copy and paste, click a couple buttons, and publish. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that. But how to do it correctly and how to get awesome results and how to get to this point where you're generating hundreds of leads every month and you feel it impacting your business, you're able to grow your business, you're able to expand teams. Well, that takes a little bit of work, right? A little bit, not a ton, but it can be done with Facebook. Our clients do it over and over, and you're not going to be able to talk to Scott and I all the time about how you do this. You can get on the call once a week with us, but a lot can be shared and learned from that mastermind group. Scott's there a lot. I'm there every once in a while, but our clients are there a lot. So thanks for the feedback, everybody. I've been on for a few weeks, haven't run a Facebook ad with L2L, but I've run them separately. Okay, cool. Going on week 1, ran a campaign that generated 2 empty nest inquiries, also identified 66 sellers that clicked on our ad, which allowed us to retarget them. Great. And then less than $30 for 6 days. Oh, that's good. So low cost, got a lot of leads. Chuck is saying he got 2 months. I've run about 4 ads, collect about 50 quality seller leads and improving results each and every time. Chuck, that's awesome. And as I'm chatting here, if you got feedback, I definitely want to hear that and share that with the crew here. I must be doing something wrong. I have posted to Facebook and have not had any results. Yeah, Paul, you're probably doing something wrong. Good, you're on the call. I just started, ran one ad, got 14 partial seller leads. That's great, Kevin. That's great. So everybody, thanks so much for giving us some feedback. And if any of you didn't realize that there's a little question chat panel over there, and that is where, if you got questions for me, I try to take a breath now and then we kind of get into it. So I'm going to log in as myself, my little agent account. And usually when you log in, a little pop-up page pops up here and it says, that there's some training classes and there's some recorded tutorials. Definitely watch those. But as I mentioned, click here to join the mastermind group. Honestly, if you got extra time, you need to learn about what we're doing here. And that gets you right in. If you're not a member, when you click that button over here on the right-hand side, will be a button that says join group. And when you click join group, Scott or I will accept you in here. And then you should be scanning, coming in, clicking discussions over here and look at what's going on, because a lot of people are paying attention. Now, Ginger just liked our mastermind, our Listings to Leads mastermind group. It's one thing to like it and it's another to join it. So you definitely want to join this group and then follow what we're doing. So you join it here. Over here is a green button that says Facebook advertising. And for all of you, this page gets a little bit convoluted. We're doing a big UI change. It's going to look different and simpler in our system. And Scott likes to throw in lots of stuff so that you can just get easily confused. And so we kind of work against that all the time, right? So, but there are a couple important pieces. There's a video right here showing you how to create one of the most important landing pages, which is about, home value, get your home value. And so Scott goes through it here. That's pretty clear. Right up here, it says how to run an ad in under 2 minutes, how to run an ad on Facebook. Okay. And these are really the things that you want to know. There's some recorded webinars here. I definitely, those are recordings of our clients talking about how it's working for them. That's all under this Facebook advertising. We've got a lot of great tools here. The Monday call is usually, all the great things that we do. But today is just about Facebook. So let's go over to the listings page. And I want you to remember things. And I tend to repeat myself and try to go slowly because I know that you guys are all distracted all the time. And that's just how it is. And so the listings page is not the first thing you think of when you want to dominate Facebook. It's just not. Because you're hearing all over the internet, and realtors are saying, oh, you need a landing page, you need it on Facebook, and that's a great way to get sellers. And that is totally true, right? You need a landing page for property valuation. You need to get on Facebook. It's a great way to get sellers. Low cost and easy. But what people don't tell you, and there are a lot of companies that do this, right? Bold, Prime Seller, Home Value, Curator, I don't know, list goes on, that'll sell you some great little page like ours. And they'll either slap it up there for you or give it to you and you do it. But what nobody tells you is, hey, you get better results if you actually build a brand on that page. If you actually let people know continually for a few bucks a day that you're a realtor. For a few bucks a day, you can reach thousands of people. And I don't know what you do for advertising. The old days, it was the phone book, bus stops, whatever. But today, 71% of adults in the United States are on Facebook. And if you now know that you can build a brand there, well, you by all means got to do it. This is the listing page, and there are two key pages that we want people to use when they're building a brand. The single property website, you click on the red button with the white house, it pulls up your listing. I've got some goofy video on here because I was showing somebody how to embed video. But it'd have your pictures of your homes. It's going to have follow this home schedule is showing. It's going to have all these great links pointing off of that single property website to your website. Okay. So there's a lot of lead capture in a single property website, and it looks awesome. And that's kind of key. So I want you to remember this because a lot of you don't have any listings, right? And you hear about us, we're low cost, great, lots of tools, but you don't know really what you're doing. And so what I want you to understand is that the single property website is a very good tool to market for just $5 a day. Do it for 3 or 4 days, 5 days at a time, to get thousands of people to see that you're an actual realtor in your market, okay? There's another great tool. It's called the listing landing page, and we can see it over here to the right of the Facebook. There's this blue button, and it says it's under the column listing landing page. And this could be about this same exact house. It's not the same exact house. It's a different one. But you see how different this page looks? This is part of building your brand. You don't want the same looking ad out all the time. You want to show people that you've got homes coming soon. You want to tell people, I've had homes just listed. I want to tell people that there are open houses. And of course, if you sell properties, that we just sold. And so there are two ways to do it. With a listing landing page that looks like this, or with a single property website that looks like this. Let me get another one so you don't have to look at that goofball in there. So this one here is like, it says under deposit, right? So you can control that status inside listings to leads. You can set up the lead gen links inside listings to leads. And of course, all your other stuff there is designed to capture leads for you. So I want to just, remind you, you got to build the brand. So I am going to show you how to run a property valuation ad and how to do it correctly and how to target people on Facebook. And if you do it correctly, I'm sorry, I got some background music, so let me find that. Again, I'm doing things in the video. I got to clear this up. If you find out I know how to run an ad on Facebook, right? And I think Kevin was saying I ran an ad and I got 14 partial leads, and that's pretty good, right? That's good, but that's what I call getting a good base hit. I hope you all get a couple dozen leads, even partials, on your first times out, right? But what we really want is for you to be getting a few dozen leads on a weekend, and ideally a couple hundred leads a month. And some of those leads you're going to have to, bake for a while, and some of them you're going to be able to get into contract even sooner. So you need to know, like, if I today know how to throw a property valuation ad up on Facebook and I get some leads, if I also build my brand, if from now on I start to build my brand on Facebook by running a couple of tools from listings to leads for a couple bucks a day, the next time I run that property valuation ad, I'm going to get deeper quality on my leads, meaning ideally full contact information, and I'm going to get more leads, right? And that's really the key, is you want higher quality leads. And so obviously if you build a brand on Facebook and people start to recognize, oh yeah, this guy is a realtor, this lady is a realtor, and now I can see I can get my home value, well then that's awesome. Now I'm more comfortable with you than as opposed to you randomly grabbing a link from any company like us and slapping it on Facebook and hoping that it just starts raining money, right? It's just not like that. And there are lots of you that can do that. But if you really want this to be a meaningful part of your business for revenue growth, you need to kind of pay attention to this. Try not to be distracted for the rest of this call, okay? So I'm showing you the listings page. You may not have listings. You can borrow listings. Ideally, you can borrow them from your colleagues in your office. We have clients that borrow them from agents in other offices to build up relationships, just trying to get buyers. And then you're running these same tools, okay? Now, all of you, regardless of if you have listings or not, you can go up here to landing pages. I'm going to click landing pages up here, and you all have access to these landing pages right now. So you have FSBO landing pages, expireds, property valuation, growing family, empty nester, and we'll talk about that. I see some questions coming up, so it's a good time to throw in questions, and I will talk about, then I'll dive into that. I've recently closed property on 2 properties, and the buyer side, I want to leverage that through L to L. Is that possible? I recently closed property on 2 closed sale on the buyer side, and I want to leverage that. Yeah, so I think what you're saying is you helped a buyer buy a house. So you might want to say, hey, this home just sold, because you're associated with that. You can just manually create that listing inside the system and put it in, and then mark it as just sold, right? All the lead generation goes back to you. And you should do that for just the aspect of saying, I am associated homes, getting sold, and I'm a realtor, right? I'm actually involved with transactions. That's an important piece to get to know, because if you think about it now, and I'm sure you're all at varying degrees of real estate in how long you've been in the industry and how well you do at generating advertising, right? So you just need to think like, I want to let everybody know that I'm a realtor. And Paul, you've been associated with that. You got to take that as an opportunity to get in front of the market. Great. Let's see, Tom McAvoy, love your sign presentation, not easy to follow. That would be great on a number of leads, because I'm sucking on using Cole partial to full, but would like to use also with buyers. Does that work for me? Buyers. Doesn't really work with buyers. Cole is, I'll dive into Cole in just a second here. What size photo do we need to change background? Good question, Asha. I'm going to answer that in questions in a second here. So there are 3 major, kind of questions here. One is, if you're associated to a transaction, if you're helping the buyer or you're helping the seller, market it on Facebook. Get it in the system on the listings page and get it out there, get our tool out there, and then follow what I'm about to describe to you in how to target the people that are meaningful and who need to know this. The other question was, I use the Cole information converter, and it's right here. It says partial to full lead converter right here. Okay. Now, if you click on it right here, it doesn't tell you a whole lot. I guess you can click here and find out what it is. But really what it is it's an online phone book. And when we start collecting leads on the property valuation pages, many of those leads can be partial leads, meaning only the address. And a lot of agents want that because they'll go find the background information in some other venue, right? Some other resource. If you sign up here where it says subscribe to Cole information, what that does is we reach into the online database and we give you the the contact information 60 to 70% of the time. Sometimes it's emails, sometimes it's phone numbers, sometimes it's cell numbers. So that's a really good way of doing it. And the way that's like the number one thing I am thinking. Now, in terms of buyers, there isn't that kind of deep database. You might want to try it. I'll tell you one thing. We don't have coal information integrated with with our any of our landing pages. Okay, so it is integrated with the Property Valuation Plus. Let's click over here real quickly, and let me describe to you, if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, what we are talking about. This is a Property Valuation Plus landing page. It's the one I recommend the most. Okay, you can change the background picture. There was a question, how big does that background picture need to be for me to change it? I'd say 1900 pixels wide. Okay, and if you click edit over here instead of see landing page, there's a spot right here that shows you, it says 1200 pixels wide. I don't know why that is. It should actually be 1900. I use 1900. And you upload it right there, and then boom, there you go. So do me a favor. I am going to go through the page. What I'd like to know is if what town are you guys trying to build your business in? Right. I have one for Lafayette. Give me the name of a town and give me a nice landmark. Okay, we're going to talk. I'm going to show you how to get that picture the right way. What pages do Cole work with is another good question. Flower Mound, Texas. Cool, Asha. I will get there in 1 second. Is there any kind of famous landmark in Flower Mound? So any page that has the word plus is integrated with the Cole information system. Okay. And what plus means is that it has a Zillow valuation at the last page, right? So we're going to give them an instant valuation. It's a Zestimate. And if you're not really comfortable doing that, you can use the page that says property valuation. In that case, you get the information and it tells you, thank you, we will get you the deeper information, right? So just test them out and you will see how they work. But let's just go through my page right now, my Lafayette page. And I want you to understand, so the first step of this page is to get a valuation, is to get an address, sorry. 1595 Huston Road. It's weird, I'm on the East Coast now, and this page somehow knows where you're sitting. And it's not showing me anything in California because I'm now in Delaware. But you put in your address and you click go. And the next page is, it says, here's a picture of your home and this is what we know about the home. Now, I don't know if you can hear it, but my phone is buzzing over here because I just got a lead as the agent. And that is the partial lead. I just got somebody's address. Okay. And that's it. And then I got some instructions in my email, like, hey, this is what you should do with your partial lead, kind of thing, right? But we still want to follow through and go, okay, well, it's going to tell me how many bedrooms. Is this right? Yes. Click OK. What this is, people, is the buy-in. Because the next question is, great, I have your valuation, but I need your contact info to get it, right? So we don't give them the valuation until they give us their contact information, right? And then click for report, okay? And now we have a full lead. The consumer has access to the numbers, and I, as the agent, have a partial lead and a full lead right after it with the contact information. So that's really how this page works. So now let's talk about how to customize it. And we're going to go back to Asha, who says Fountain Hills, Arizona. The fountain in Fountain Hills. Okay, Fountain Hills, Arizona. So we want to create, and let's all kind of stay together on this one, guys. Fountain Hills, Arizona, AZ. We want to create a business in Fountain Hills, right? So the first thing you want to do is go to Google, type in Fountain Hills, AZ, click images. Please follow here because this is really the critical place right here, okay? Now, you want images, you want to click search tools, you want to click size, you want to click larger than 4 MP, okay? Up here it says usage rights, labeled for reuse, okay? And that means, sorry, I clicked on something extra. That means that I can now use this page. Now, I don't know what's really the coolest page here. You kind of know the area, but you know, Asha was saying that this fountain is really it, right? So I'm going to click view image here. And hopefully it's a little bit better quality. It looked a little bit blurry, but sometimes the images take a second. Yeah, that looks good to me. I'm going to go right, save image as L to L. Here, yes. Okay, so I've saved my image. Now what do you do? Let's just imagine you're brand new to the system, okay? You're brand new to us and you want to build a landing page and you don't know which one, right? First of all, I'm going to point you, I'm going to say use Property Valuation Plus first, but don't go there. Go over here where it says number 2 and type in Fountain Hills. That's it. Just the name of the city. You could do this for the name of a development, of a neighborhood, right? If you really got like an awesome neighborhood, you want to be careful of how you target because sometimes there's just a few hundred homes in those kinds of neighborhoods. But you can do that. I don't recommend that you go too wide like county. And I know there's some prominent counties and I know you think of counties, but it is very hard to target and you get less leads when you go county-wide. So we're just going to do Fountain Hills, spell it correctly, highlight it correctly, because it's going to blow right into all these pages. So I'm going to click Save, and you got to give it a minute, and there'll be a little message somewhere. It's probably going to be too small for you to see. It's probably going to be above that green button that says Facebook 101. Yeah, the little message is we created a series successfully. That means I now have a Fountain Hills landing page under my FSBO page, way down here at the bottom. And I could get this in front of FSBOs. I might find FSBOs, I might buy a list, I might see them on Craigslist, I might see them on Zillow. So I got now a landing page for FSBOs for Fountain Hills. I can also use my expired list or my expired landing page. I've got things for mortgage listings, condos, but we want to talk about Property Valuation Plus, and we go to the bottom and we want to edit that page, Fountain Hills, and we want to choose this, and we want to go to L, and we want to upload that photo that we just downloaded, and we click Save and Update. And once we do that, it will take us back to the top of the page, and you can see the little pictures there. And then we can click View Standard. I like View Standard. There's View Autofill, which autofills the address in there. Kind of cool, kind of creepy. So I like just the standard. And now this page works just like the other one. So I want you need to choose a photograph in the background of all your areas. I'm going to tell you the story I tell everybody all the time. You may not know this, but I set up the office accounts for listings to leads. And I set up Summit, New Jersey, Coldwell Banker. And, you know, we train the office, we train the manager, and he's like, hey, you know, we're running a lot of ads. And this ad right here is getting by far the most hits, okay? And that's because this thing is sitting on Main Street. Everybody in Summit, New Jersey knows this thing. And I'm pointing it out because it's not like super picturesque, but it is definitely what everybody in Summit, New Jersey knows. And that's what you got to think of. You're running an ad, you're asking people to give you their contact information. You need to give them some comfort level that you know you're in the same area. You know, you're local. You're not like a random spamming company. So think of that when you're doing that, okay? So let's see here. Let's see here. Do you have listings in your system in order to use the landing page module? No. No. You don't need any listings to use the landing page section. Flower Mound, Texas. Number 8. Oh, not anything for flower. Okay. Well, Asha, you saw how I did it. You can think of it your way. Sometimes just a downtown street. Like if Flower Mound doesn't have like, an awesome statue or fountain or whatever, there's a downtown street. That's enough. Okay. If I've already created a neighborhood landing page or two, won't this create duplicate problems creating the same neighborhood series? Not really. It may be problems because you might have 3 pages that say the same thing. You're not going to know which one you've got. But when you do click on the landing page, it is going to look a certain way. So you will know which one you're using, right? But it won't really create much issues other than that. So right now we have created a page for Fountain Hills. Okay. And I'm going to go over, because I kind of know my neighborhoods, or my old neighborhood. I have my page that I created that was my Lafayette page, right? So let's just go back to my Lafayette page so we can talk about what I know exactly, right? So we're ready. We've changed our background page, or our background picture. We got it from Google and we put it in there, and now we're ready to run this ad. Copy this link up here. It starts with search all properties. Copy this link. You do not need to go buy your own fancy URL from GoDaddy. I know everybody always thinks that, that's like an awesome thing, and that is an awesome thing, but you don't need that to do that. What you need to do is come to Facebook, and there's a navigation bar, and up here is a triangle pointing down. Click it. It opens a menu. Click Create Ads. And this brings you to the first page of the Facebook Ad Manager. Now I've got this pop-up because I got a block, advertising blocker. You won't see that. And there are some options. Send people to your website is what you're looking for. If you're brand new to Facebook and you've never run an ad before, it's going to look different from this. In that case, the website section has been moved. Instead of selecting your website here, you'll do that in your ad creative. Yeah. Gosh darn it. So this is exactly, so let's see. Continue. Okay, I got to read here a second. Clicks to website. Instead of selecting your website here, you'll do it in your ad creative. Okay, great. So campaign name, you can change, you can create a name. I'm going to say home value this week, whatever the week is, right? I don't even know the date. Let's just say it is June 1st. Okay. So they kind of change it. And that's the thing. Facebook changes their stuff all the time. And hopefully we're going to see what we need. The first thing it's going to say is, what's your audience? And this is why this thing is so crazy powerful. This is one of the biggest reasons why this section right here, it's choosing the audience. Underneath it says the United States, but click your location. My location, that page is in Lafayette, and the zip code is 94549. And what it does is it says everybody that lives in Lafayette is going to see this. Okay? And that makes sense because it's saying, what is my Lafayette home worth? I don't want people outside of Lafayette to see it. I just want those people. Lafayette homes are kind of pricey. Nobody who's 18 owns a home there. And if it is, it might be one person. So that's not really, I'm not going to target that. I'm going to target everybody who's 30 years old and above. Okay? Now, usually I leave it alone there. And let's see here. Boy, this is really a change. I will tell you this, detailed targeting, some of our clients click in there and they choose homeowners. Even some people say I want net worth. I don't really recommend it. And our clients don't need to do that to get success. You can always test it out and see what you got. But I just bracket by zip code and by age. You can also exclude people here if you want to exclude, I don't know, other realtors or things like that, but we're not going to do that. Then it says placement. And there was a question on our mastermind group when we logged in that said, what should we do about all these things? right? They said, what should I do about audience network? So placement is really key here, and it's different. Today, right now, this very second, we're running a property valuation ad, right? But I also said we want to run ads to build brand. And when you're building brand, that's a different deal than trying to get somebody to fill out a property valuation ad. So I need you just to understand this. I will try not to go into too much detail. When you're running a seller landing page, a property valuation page, remove it from the mobile newsfeed. These pages are mobile optimized, but are people really going to fill out a 3-page form on a phone? Very few will. And what a lot of our clients, most of our clients say is, I got a bunch of clicks for mobile, but I didn't get any leads. And that's when you got to just use the old melon and go, well, then don't run these things on mobile, right? And when we're running branding ads, definitely mobile, but not this kind of ad. Instagram, I may not be really into that, but you can leave it. When you remove mobile, the audience network goes away, because what audience network actually means is there are a lot of third-party apps on your phone. I have this thing that shuts down background apps, right? And it saves my RAM. And they throw up little ads for, Candy Crush and games, but every once in a while I see a property valuation ad. It's not really relevant to me there. And so I don't really think audience network is relevant. And I've spoken to people at Facebook and they say, no, don't use Facebook audience network. Desktop newsfeed, in case you do not know what desktop newsfeed is, it is this center column. That is definitely where you want to be. The right-hand column is over here. You don't want to be there. Desktop right-hand column, get rid of that. So we're running a seller lead capture page. We definitely want it on the desktop newsfeed. We don't want it on mobile. I'm going to leave Instagram alone. I probably would take it off if it was my own money. But here's a big piece of it. And you got to pay attention here because there's a couple of important pieces. Change this daily budget to lifetime. Change your spend to 60. Start your ad on Friday and end your ad on Monday. So what's going to happen? Oh, be careful. Notice it's giving me a red sign, minimum budget, $5 a day. That's because when you set the end date, Facebook always pushes you out 30 days. And you really only want it to run for a few days. Now the red thing has gone away and you're kind of good. So let's understand what it's saying. I'm going to maximum send $60 over 3 days. I want you to look over here, this daily reach. 1,000 to 2,000 people, 1,000 to 1,900 are going to be seen on Facebook every day. So that's 3 days, okay? So maybe 5,000 people are going to see this ad for $60. Now, I know if you're kind of clicking around our system, you might have heard of our agent saying, I spend $1 a day and I spend $5 a day. And you can do $5 a day. You can't do $1 a day anymore. Those are old things. But when you are running property valuation ads, you want to get the most amount of clicks. So that's why I have a bigger budget. $20 a day is really how it's going out. So let's click continue. And I hope that they allow me to paste in my link now because they really changed this around. Yeah, what? Okay. Listings to leads. Okay. Wow, there's a real, that's a significant change. Now you paste in your website. This used to be, remember I said copy this link? This used to be on the very first page. So now they have said, no, we're going to put that on the very last page. So that's cool. Let's just paste it in there. It gives you a little blue bar, click it, and it should spin around over on the right. And it's showing you here that that's going to be the image. They kind of fix that up a little bit. That's good. And it shows you, now enter your website here. Yeah, I'm going to close that. It shows you what it's going to look like. Okay. Now just to cut to the chase, you can click the button right here and click place order. And that's it. But let's not cut to the chase and let's talk about what's incredibly important at this juncture. First of all, this language here, find out your home value now. This is genius stuff from Scott. This is meant to be wiped out. Do not use this language, okay? It is just not the language to use. There's some other ideas, and when I tell you to join the Mastermind group, there's people put in some really great stuff. A couple of ideas that I really like, and I noticed I've highlighted the text over here. Whatever you type here, click here to get your automated online valuation in less than 15 seconds. A lot of our clients used to use this. And it really works well because it tells the consumer a few things. I'm going to get it fast and I don't have to talk to you. And that's really a key in this world today, right? They don't really want to talk to you. I go to Macy's to go look at pants and somebody wants to show me how to get pants. I kind of know what I'm doing. Same kind of concept here, right? Let them know they're going to get what they want and they don't actually have to talk to you, right? Now I want to point out here, it's sponsored in this case by the Listings to Lead Mastermind group. It's going to be sponsored by you or you, the realtor. And that's, remember how I said like 5,000 people are going to see this? That's part of the brand building. They're going to start to get familiar with this, right? And that's it. You can change this language down here. Find out the value of Lafayette home now, right? You can get that right here. And that's kind of it. But change this. I'll tell you a couple of other ideas that work well in this box. Some clients put in a picture of a home that just sold. And they'll say, this home was under contract in 7 days. Click here to get your home evaluation now. This home sold for 10% above asking price. Click here to get your home value now. You know, think of what motivates people in selling their home and use it. Place the order, and when you place the order, it's going to run for those 3 days. Remember, I ran a property valuation ad on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You've always got an A/B test. Maybe you get leads in the week on this kind of ad, right? Maybe mobile works awesome for you. But when clients call and they tell me, oh, I'm not really getting what I want, we give them the directions of what I'm showing you right now, and they're like, this worked great. And then you kind of tweak and you build from there. But start getting base hits and build from there, okay? So that's how you run a property valuation ad. You could, notice it says single image, you could click here and say, I want to put in multiple images. And Facebook will auto-rotate the images. So maybe you've got a few, maybe you've got a nighttime shot of Fountain Valley and a daytime shot. Maybe you got a restaurant in there. And that just keeps those ads looking fresh instead of stale, and that's always important. So I'm going to take questions here, and then we're going to jump back into listings leads and talk about brand building. Hey, Sally, good to see you. You have to cut and paste at the end. They changed it last week. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I see that. Happened to me today. You can put the website on the last page. Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. Yeah. This is easy. I just ran an ad yesterday and added a website link and ad creative. Super easy. Great. Where do you change text under the photo? Good question. Where do you change this text under the photo? So Lafayette home values is right here, right? So I'm just going to change this just for conversation's sake. It's to free home values. Now Lafayette home values change to free home values. Find out your home value now. That's a bit of a mystery to me. I'm going to click advanced options. And honestly, I don't know where that is coming from. Find out that value. So where is that? That is a bit of a mystery. But I'm going to change this here. I'm going to click here and say our evaluations are so hot. Let's just see where that goes. That, yeah, used to go right here. Used to go right, and so that's where it used to go. So when you click advanced options, so in the normal default view, it's like this. Then you click show advanced options. There's a little box here. I don't know how it's feeding there. I think Scott has changed a little bit of this so that we're picking up as much as we can. But you can also change it there. This is that little advanced option is more useful, I think, when you're running ads for listings like open houses and just sold, because you might want to say a little bit extra about the home, right? You can fit more characters in here. These boxes up here on the top and free home value, these have real limitations on how many characters you can put. So that's how you run an ad. That's how you run a property valuation ad. I want to remind you that you want to stay within the zip code of your area, okay? So meaning I ran an ad for Lafayette, and I want only people living in Lafayette to see it, okay? So I'm gonna go to create an ads again, and I'm gonna leave it there, okay? And now we talked about how to run an ad, and now I wanna talk about, now that we know how to run an ad, how do we get that ad to start getting better and better results over time, right? That's where we started the conversation. I said, you gotta build a brand. And you do that by running ads on Facebook prior, during, on top of. Now, if you poke around our system long enough, you're gonna see that we've got recorded calls from Melanie Banks, from Neil Wolf, and from Shannon Pyatt. And these are some of the agents that have gotten on the line with us and say, you know, we're generating hundreds of leads a month. And what I want you to understand is what they tell us, right? And if you find those calls, you'll hear them. One of the things I think is confusing is Shannon says, I run ads for $1 a day, and you can't run ads for $1 a day anymore. But what Shannon did do, and I think everybody has to keep in mind, and certainly you got to keep your budget in mind, is Shannon had a lot of listings, and he gets a lot of listings, and he runs ads on all of his listings for multiple days. Back when he can run it for $1 a day, he'd run an ad every day of the week for 30 days for $1 a day. You can't do that anymore. But what I can tell you is, because he was running so many ads, if you logged into Facebook and you sat in those target zip code areas, you could not avoid him, right? Neil Wolf started much later. He can't run $1 a day ads, and neither can Shannon, but he's running ads all the time. And Melanie Banks is running ads all the time. Some are property valuation, but a lot of them are also open house, just listed, just sold, coming soon. And what they all tell us is that people are picking up the phone out of the blue and calling them and saying, I see you all over the internet and I want to sell my home. They're really seeing them all over Facebook. Every time they log in, there's some ad by these people, right? That's really where you want to be. As I said, 71% of adults in the United States, not teenagers, are on Facebook. I think the number is 40 to 50 minutes a day. Okay? So that's why you got to really have a strategy of how to be here. And the number one strategy that Scott and I see that works time and time again is to get some listings on this page, whether you borrow them or whatever, and you run single property website ads for $5 a day, or listing landing pages for $5 a day. And you do it the same way, right? You open up the page, and this is not the page
Howdy
I
there.
want. You open up, let's just open up Ruskin. I got to get rid of that video. And you copy this link, and you go over to your ad manager, and you say, I want to send people to my website. And then it's going to tell you, well, we've moved that. I guess now they don't tell you that. So let's say this is, we're just going to say just listed. June 1, right? We're just going to say that. There are some differences here, so don't completely check out, because there are a couple of really key important differences of running this ad compared to that other one. I see some questions here, so I'm going to take them now before we finish this. Yes, price quotes on this age is confusing. Bottom line, what is the best length of time and price to budget, run an ad, or boost or ad? Okay. What are the differences between 4 types? Full screen property valuation, landing page choices. Okay, we'll look at that in a minute. We'll look at that. Where do you change to? Okay, yeah. So we'll answer these questions. Price quotes on these ads is confusing. Best length of time, boost. Okay. So what we're doing here is we are creating an ad. We are not boosting an ad. Okay. You actually have more control over your audience on creating an ad over boosting your ad. And that's why we recommend it. Okay. Now, so that's like number one. So we really recommend that you create ads. I think if you're brand new to Facebook, and I don't know because it does change a little bit. If you're brand new to Facebook, Facebook doesn't give you this view until you've boosted an ad first. Because then you get your credit card in there and then you've got this whole access to this thing, right? So if you've never run an ad before and you try to click it the way I did, you might see 3 little options and they'll be really confusing. It doesn't look like this, but I think if you go post something on your business page and then boost it, you get close, then you get your credit card in there and then the ad manager starts to look like this. So let's kind of jump back to what I was talking about. I'm now running an ad to tell people I'm a realtor and that there's a home for sale. This does not have to be my home. I could have borrowed it. I could be sitting on an open house this weekend for somebody and I want to advertise it so that people know I'm a realtor and I can get some leads. Okay, so I copy this link and I go over to my ad manager and I say, okay, this time this home is in Lafayette, California. And notice on the little map, I don't know if you can see it, there's a circle and it says Lafayette plus 25 miles, and 25 miles out is San Francisco. Now that's a little far out for me. But now if I shrink that to 10-mile radius, I've got Walnut Creek, Canyon, Marinda, Moraga, Danville. I definitely want those people to know I am a realtor because I do business over there, right? Pleasant Hill too. So you want that 10-mile radius when you're building a brand. You do not want a 10-mile radius when you're capturing seller leads, okay? It's got to be spot on. Here's a zip code. They got to live in this town, okay? Now, 18-year-old probably can't buy a home in the Bay Area, maybe 25. I'm just going to bracket it there. I'm not going to do anything else for that, okay? Here's another big difference. Placement. Is mobile good for building brand? By all means. A lot of people are on mobile all the time on Facebook. I just want them to see that picture where it says I'm the realtor. And that's it. They may not click it. I don't care. I'm getting thousands of brands and impressions. And that's really important to me. Instagram to build brand? Sure. Instagram, if you don't know it, is a photographic social network. And real estate has a lot of photos. So it's not a bad place to try to invest your time to build that social platform, because it is all about, photographs, and you can always get great photos in real estate. Audience network, no. Desktop newsfeed, definitely. Every time, everything you do, desktop newsfeed, definitely. Desktop right column, never. Okay? So really the only difference here is mobile. You want mobile when you're building the brand. Now, I'm going to set my lifetime budget. What is the date? It's Tuesday, and it's the 31st. I don't want this to go, I want it to be over on Sunday. So I'm going to change my budget to about 30 bucks. Let's see if it'll do that for me. Yeah. So 30 bucks. So for 30 bucks, I'm going to reach, in this case, your reach is a lot less because it's $5 a day, right? So let's say 500 people a day for 5 days, 2,500 people are going to start to see that I am a realtor for 30 bucks. This is one ad. I really think you want to run, and you certainly got to think about your budget. You ideally want to have one ad running all the time. That's $5 a day. That's 150 bucks a month, right? You want to change that ad. A couple days you want it to be open houses. A couple days you want it to be just sold, just listed, open houses. You want people to see all the things that are going on in real estate and associate those things with you. If you have more budget, put in more money on Facebook, right? Maybe you're going to, every time there's a sold, you're going to market just solds more often. Maybe you're going to market coming soons or whatever more often. You decide how you're going to build your business. Then we click continue. And then we're going to create the ad. right? And so I am going to choose my group, Listings Leads Mastermind Group. I'm going to paste in my URL. It's my listing, and it's going to show me a picture of the house. Okay? And here's, again, that really groovy language up here that is so compelling that I just got to click that, right? Not really. There is something about this house that you know that we don't know, right? Maybe it's in an awesome neighborhood, right? With the best schools, right? Maybe it's got a new granite kitchen, right? I don't know. You know, there is a reason why you're selling this house that you think it is very sellable. Whatever it is, get it in there so that people will look at it, pause, and click, right? Down below, same kind of stuff, right? Maybe you want to see for sale investor, right? Or you know, you could, whatever you think is important, put it in there and it shows up right underneath this picture. Then again, if you click on more actions, or not there, that's the button, advanced options, it shows you down here, this language here changes this language under here. And this can be pretty long. I think it's like a couple hundred characters. So you might want to put your marketing comments kind of down there and just say, hey, this is, you know, whatever, right? Whatever you think, really a little more description, right? And it can go pretty far. At some point it'll tell you you've written too much. But that's really the key, is you want to change that. It looks like Scott has had it coded, so at least it looks a little bit better, and that's good. Audience network, it says add, because if you want to add it, we don't want it. We're leaving mobile, we're leaving Instagram. We're building brand for 30 bucks. About 2,000 people in this market are going to see it. Place the order. There you go. Okay. That's how you build a brand. And that, you know, realtors have like a ton of ways to burn money. They call me every day. I'm like, I'm pissing away money here and there and blah, blah, blah. And I'm getting 10 or 15 leads a month and they're not turning into business. I highly recommend you review where that money is going. And if at all possible, you apply it to Facebook advertising, because the ability to reach and to tell people where they're sitting all the time that you're a realtor, I just don't know of a better venue for this right now, for real estate right now. You know, you can't do this with all industries. You can do it with real estate because it's people sitting there, right? And now, you know, more adults are getting there. The grandparents are on, and the teenagers are jumping off and going all these other places. But for people who own homes and are thinking about buying homes, they are here. So this is an awesome place for business building, brand building, and lead generation for real estate. So you just got to kind of get it down and kind of get that. And, you know, there are more knobs, and they're great. You know, there isn't much more. And I know some realtors, you know, get distracted by every little thing they see. Don't worry, you know, good company. Scott's the same way. But this is not. These are the basics, and you can start here and do really well with what I've shown you here. And then you can go, hey, you know what? I want to look at that description, and I want to go see if I can target people a little bit better. And you may get awesome results. So if you do, come back to our group and please share it in the mastermind group. Okay. Now is a good time for questions, people, because I'm going to wrap it up. That's kind of my message for today. Let's see here. Here's our mastermind group. So if we don't have any other questions, I want to thank everybody for, oh, here I see the people. Guys, if you want to join the group, I see people are wanting to join right now. I will kind of point back here to a couple of important areas in case you got on late. In the homepage, when you log in, is the big button to join our mastermind group. Over here, Facebook advertising shows you how to create that landing page. We covered it today, right? Right here shows you how to run an ad. It's a little bit out of date because, as we saw, things have changed in just the last week, but it'll get you close there and you can probably figure out the rest. I am going to put this recording on YouTube. and I'm going to have it in our mastermind group, you know, pretty soon here. So hopefully today. So I definitely recommend you join our mastermind group. Let's see here. This is my group here, right? I'm going to copy this link. If you don't have this already, or you haven't, maybe you're not a client yet. I'm going to paste here. Oh yeah. Your question. I'm sending this to everybody. There should be a link in your chat box. Click it. Click to join our page here. I'll also send you my email address, which is vince@listings2leads. And I have this little email with 3 awesome tutorials, which I think are the best tutorials. They're the ones, you know, there's one that covers all the latest tools that we have, and there's one that covers what to do with your listings, and then one that's just like this. This is how you build your brand and go, you know, build your business with Facebook. So let's answer that last question, which is a really good one, and really understand what these pages are. Because you notice there's 4 different property valuation plus pages. All 4 of these are for seller lead capture. Nearby homes are for seller lead capture. Growing family is really, it's time to maybe sell and move, right? So seller lead capture. Property valuation 2, really old school looking page, can work really well. Not as fancy, but works really well. So you got to test it out and see what works. Empty nester, well, you know what an empty nester is, right? It's time to downsize. So what's the difference from empty nester and empty nester plus? Plus has a built-in Zillow estimate at the end. Okay, that's it. So what's plus 1 mean? What's property valuation 1 mean? 1 means everything is on one page. So let's click it and go look at what I'm yammering on about. When we started the call talking about seller lead capture, remember how I showed you is like the first page captures the address and the next page asks you for the confirmation email? Well, on a property valuation page, 80% of the people will walk away before they have to give you their contact information. They just walk away, right? It's like, I don't want to get spammed all my life. I just don't want that. I just wanted the information fast, and you're making me give you some information, so I'm not going to do it, right? That's just human nature. I'm sure you're on the internet all day long as well, and when you get asked to fill something out, you're just not even going to fill it out. Same thing. But realtors said, hey, we want a page where we got to get that email up front, and this is one page where you got to give us the email up front, and or you go no further. Okay, so that's what property valuation plus is, plus 1. It's got the Zillow valuation built in the back, but you got to give up the email right up front. Does it work? Sure. Do you get far fewer leads? Definitely. I mean, you pretty much like kneecap your lead gen, but every lead you get is going to have an email address. So it's your choice. My recommendation, and not that I'm trying to upsell you, but I'm trying to get you the most amount of leads that are actionable, is property valuation plus. That's going to get the most amount of leads. 80% will be partial leads. If you want to invest an extra $30 a month with a partial to full lead converter, that has a bolt-on of cold information, and we go scrape that online database and give you all of the information that is getting to you from those partial leads. Anything we can get, we're going to give to you. Okay, so that's really, it's an extra $30. I think it's really worth it. I know our clients have loved it, so it's really your choice. So property valuation looks very similar, but in this case, it asks for the information, and then once they give it to you, it just says thank you, and I will get back to you. And some of you may want to do that. Maybe you're using Cloud CRM, or you got some other resource that you want to get to them that you think is awesome. You just want their contact information. This is a good page to use. Okay, so let's see here. What do we got? Office again. Oh, once again. Oh, thanks, Sally. Good to see you again. Okay, everybody, I'm going to put this, if I don't see any more questions, I'm putting this up online. It will be in our mastermind group. You can email me if you want the tutorials. If you need an office plan, give me a shout. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Have a great week. Enjoy the summer.